episodes of what you might want to do. So a minute ago, the last video, we talked about someone who's incapacitated, terribly, seriously risk because of 11 or so episodes of severe, dangerous, awful bile reflux that almost took you to the hospital, right? And that's the big fear of the surgery. And then we have another patient who's 5 years out, and she's had 2 episodes. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to quote you correctly. So we might ask, well, should you never do the MGB because you're so frightened, maybe you should never have it. And my bias, if you had 2 episodes in 5 years, you could have a Roux-en-Y or lap band. My personal advice to patients, my personal preference is the disadvantages of the lap band and the Roux-en-Y are outweighed by the disadvantages of the MGB. And there's some tricks and pointers of why you might, in those 2 events, have had some reflux. Because why, for the other 365 days a year, for the other 5 years, minus those 2 days, why is it you didn't have reflux on all those other days? Or, if you talk to my thousands of other patients, most days they don't have reflux. Okay? One of the most common reasons we think that you get reflux is kind of what you said. You just eat too much and lay down. So if you fill up that pouch, eat kind of maybe more than you should, feel really stuffed, and lay back flat, it's just kind of a mechanical thing. You can have some reflux. But the other thing is, sometimes, even though you haven't eaten a lot that night, you can still have reflux. And what we think is that bile normally travels next to that connection every day and goes downstream without causing trouble. 999 times out of 100, bile comes up to that connection and says, and goes downstream as opposed to aspirating up. Why would it on some days, in some patients, get worse and suddenly have trouble and start squirting back upstream? Well, to explain that, I want to tell you 2 thought experiments in your mind with me this morning. First of all, the first thought experiment, I want you to imagine it's a hot summer day in Las Vegas, and we go out to mow the front lawn. Now that's got to be imaginary because in Las Vegas we don't have lawn. We just have rocks and desert and rattlesnakes moving out of the way. So, but imagine, this is a thought experiment so I can do whatever I want. We go out to mow the lawn, it's hot, and we come up after mowing the lawn and there's a big pitcher of freshly cut squeezed lemons and lemonade sitting on the porch, and we pour a big glass with big chunks of ice into it, put a big heaping spoon of sugar in it, and you drink that down. Okay, you have that in your mind? Now I'll do the same thing and you have a cold sore in your mouth as big as a quarter. Right? Okay, keep that in your mind. Let's do another one. Today, it's just like Oprah. Look under your seat. This is imaginary. Look under your seat and we're all going to Hawaii! Ah! Okay, you got that in your mind? And then we go to Hawaii, and then I'm talking. I know that's hard to imagine. And we all walk to the beach. We're all going down to the ocean, and we're all bunched up because I'm talking and saying something really interesting, and we all trip. We all fall, and we fall forward, and we skin up our knees on the lava rocks, all cut up, and now walk into the ocean water. Ouch, right? Out. Imagine if we walked into the ocean water, no cuts. Nice. Great, we're in Hawaii. Broken skin in the seawater burns. Intact skin, wonderful, love the seawater. The lining of your mouth intact, lemonade with highly acidic drink, no big deal. With a cold sore and a raw open area, now tremendous pain. Keep those 2 in mind, and now go back to the gut in the mini gastric bypass. Bile, a detergent, just like you had eaten a blob of Dawn dishwashing liquid detergent, passes by every day, no problem. Imagine there's an ulcer there. Imagine there's gastritis or a hole. Suddenly you put detergent or acid on that area, it might spasm, and suddenly the bile goes backwards and goes up. So if you have trouble with recurrent bile and acid and things like that, the very first thing we like to do is make sure you don't have gastritis or an ulcer. And most of the time when people call me who have trouble with that, they've either eaten too much, which is simple to fix, or they've got an actual ulcer or gastritis, and we treat that. And remember, that's one of the reasons why we don't like alcohol, soda pop, cigarettes, aspirin, coffee, things like that. And we like a healthy diet. So, number one, the biggest fear after the MGB by most surgeons is the bogeyman of bile reflux. We see it occasionally. Usually it's you've eaten too much, so don't eat so much and don't lie flat right afterwards. Or it's from an actual ulcer, and the therapy is to fix the ulcer. Now we also know that many Roux-en-Y surgeons, if they see a patient of mine who has reflux or an ulcer, they say, aha, gotcha. And they will recommend that you have surgery for a Roux-en-Y. And I'm not opposed to that. If you want to do that, my bias is you might want to call me first, or we can do something less than major surgery.